On the day of my brother's wedding, his wife said to me,
"I never liked you from the start. There's no room for a fat monster like you here, so leave."
My sister-in-law hurled insults at me, a pregnant woman. Despite wanting to attend my beloved brother's wedding, I couldn't bear being treated this way. I reached my breaking point. The situation took an unexpected turn after I declined to attend my brother's ceremony. My name is Maria, 30 years old. I manage part-time work and household chores. My husband, Jason, is 2 years older, and we've been married for 3 years. He works as a buyer and salesperson at a major department store, consistently excelling in sales due to his refreshing appearance. We had been hoping for a child from the beginning, and recently, after undergoing infertility treatment, we were blessed with our long-awaited first child. Especially for me, I was overjoyed to be pregnant with the child of the man I love. When I shared the news with my husband, he was equally ecstatic. "Jason, I think I'm finally pregnant."
Huh? Is that mean?
"Yes. It's our child, Jason. I'm finally pregnant."
Really? Wow. This is amazing.
My husband said, tears welling up in his eyes.
Thank you.
He said, embracing me tightly. Since then, we've been looking forward to meeting our soon-to-be-born child and enjoying each day together. Amidst this, there was another person eagerly awaiting my childbirth. That person was my own brother, Michael. Since we were kids, my brother, who is 4 years older, has always been very fond of me. Our bond remained strong even as adults. We had discussed the infertility treatment, so when I shared the news of my pregnancy with him, he shed tears of joy like my husband. I've heard that even our mother was ecstatic beyond belief. Whether it's marriage or pregnancy, my brother always wishes for my happiness. I love him dearly for that. One day, 2 months into my pregnancy, I was summoned by my brother. "Michael, what's this about?" I asked promptly, and my brother, scratching his head awkwardly, said,
"Well, you see, I'm getting married."
"Huh? Married? Michael?" My brother attended all-boys schools for both middle and high school, and even in college, where there were few female students in the science department, he never mentioned having a girlfriend. Despite our parents suggesting arranged marriages several times, he never showed any interest. While I think he's not bad-looking, his introverted nature has always kept him distant from women. So, for him to suddenly announce his marriage, I couldn't hide my surprise.
"Yeah, it's surprising, huh? To suddenly drop this on me."
My brother admitted. "Well, yeah. So, who's the lucky lady?" I inquired.
"She's 3 years younger than me, so she's a year older than you, Maria. Her name is Amy, and we met through work."
My brother explained. "Through work?"
"Yeah, well, you know, she's the daughter of a business associate,"
he said, blushing. The daughter of a business associate. That's amazing. Does stuff like that really happen? Like in dramas? I exclaimed in astonishment, and my brother, blushing, replied,
"You're being dramatic. Even though she's the daughter of a company president, she's working diligently at her father's company. Since we're both getting older, we thought it would be best to get married sooner rather than later."
My brother explained earnestly, unlike his usual self. His sincerity somehow warmed my heart. Could it be that my brother, who has always wished for my happiness, has finally found someone special for himself? Thinking so, I couldn't help but feel happy as if it were my own happiness. A month later, my brother arrived at our apartment with his fiancée.
Nice to meet you. I'm Amy, the one dating your brother.
His fiancée greeted me. Amy, my brother's fiancée, was beautiful with a good figure, clearly fitting the image of a career woman. Seeing her, I couldn't help but feel that she was on a completely different level from me. Nice to meet you, Amy. I'm Maria, your sister-in-law. My sister-in-law replied.
Oh, you're his sister.
Returning the greeting to Amy, she gave me a sharp look. I felt momentarily stared at, but perhaps it was just my imagination. However, that premonition seemed to be accurate. After that, she hardly spoke to me and only addressed my husband.
Jason, you are amazing, aren't you? Working as a salesperson at that prestigious department store.
Suddenly being addressed by her, my husband was flustered but replied.
Well.
I haven't been to the department store much lately. When I go shopping next time, could you pick out something that suits me?
Haha. Well, sure, thank you. I'll be waiting for you.
This fiancée, her attitude is blatantly different toward me and my husband. Moreover, she seems to be giving my husband a flirtatious gaze. However, I don't want to ruin the atmosphere and, above all, she's the partner my brother chose. Just as my brother wished for my happiness, I too want him to be happy. I don't want to ruin any happiness over such a trivial reason as her being cold. Feeling many reservations, I couldn't say anything. Since then, Amy has been visiting the department store where my husband works frequently. On this day as well, my husband returned home and complained with a sigh.
Amy came to my place again today.
Huh? Again? I remember she came yesterday too.
Yeah, she did. It's nice that she buys various things, but even when I'm busy with other customers, she interrupts without hesitation. Other salespeople are also troubled by it. It's a bit.
I didn't know that. According to my husband, she spends thousands of dollars on shopping each time.
It's appreciated by the store, but I'm worried about her money sense, even though she's the president's daughter.
My husband was concerned. Several months later, my beloved brother's long-awaited wedding ceremony arrived. By this time, I had entered the late stages of pregnancy, and my belly had grown noticeably large. The long-awaited wedding of my beloved brother, a once-in-a-lifetime event. It's sure to be a wonderful ceremony. My heart was pounding from the moment I left the house. I was wearing a maternity party dress I had purchased for this day. When we arrived at the venue and headed to the reception, an incident occurred. I'm Maria, the groom's sister, and this is my husband, Jason. When I told the receptionist our names, she looked puzzled.
You're the sister, right?
Yes, I am. I'm the sister of Michael, the groom.
That's strange.
And then, in the next moment, she uttered something unbelievable.
I've been informed that his sister's attendance has been cancelled.
Huh? What are you talking about? I'm the groom's sister. It's obvious that I'll be attending.
Even if you say that, we've been informed that the groom's sister has some business and will be absent.
Hold on. There must be some mistake. Both my husband and I are scheduled to attend.
Mr. Jason's name is on the guest list, so he's confirmed to attend. However, it seems that only your sister is marked as absent.
What? I was speechless at the unexpected turn of events. Instead, my husband asked the receptionist.
Whose information is it that my wife won't be attending?
It's from the bride, Amy.
Amy.
Sensing something, my husband's expression tensed. I demanded to the receptionist, "Please call Amy." Before long, Amy and a woman who seemed to be her mother appeared before us. To get to the bottom of things, I confronted Amy. Amy. What on earth is going on? I'm marked as absent.
Oh, really? That's just how it is.
Wait a minute. I haven't said anything about being absent. Then she chuckled and casually said,
I couldn't care less about your opinion. You were just in the way, so I decided to exclude you. Got it?
What? What are you talking about?
From the start, I never liked you.
Huh? Amy.
You were acting all high and mighty just because you have a handsome husband and brother. I didn't like you from the moment we met. Your plain face and the name Maria don't match. You're just a nuisance to my happiness. Understand?
I had thought she was only cold towards me, but I never imagined she hated me to this extent. My body stiffened, and I couldn't find the right words to say. She looked down at me and spat out coldly.
Didn't you hear? You're just a nuisance. There's no seat for a fat monster like you here, so leave.
I was speechless. But what surprised me wasn't just this. Following Amy, even her mother began to say things that seemed unbelievable.
Amy's right. It would be a bother if an ugly person like you were at Amy's wedding, wouldn't it? Amy, just becoming family with you is pitiful.
Turning pale, she directed her words at me.
Leave right now.
Amy piled on.
Can't you leave already because you're a nuisance? You're an eyesore. You fat cow.
At that moment, the anger I had been holding back exploded. As I was about to retort, my husband raised his voice in my place.
How dare you? What are you saying to my wife? I never knew Amy could be this rude.
I'm done. Jason, let's go.
Huh? Are you sure?
I don't want to be here anymore. Let's go. I forcibly pulled my husband's arm and left the venue.
Serves you right.
Amy and her mother continued to spew insults until the very end. A few hours later, my brother rushed into our house.
Maria, Jason, I'm really sorry for what Amy did. It's unbelievable.
Apologizing sincerely, my brother, I asked him. It's not Michael's fault. But what about the wedding?
We asked the guests to leave halfway through. With my dear sister treated like that, there was no way we could continue the ceremony.
I see. A wise decision. But why did Amy go to such lengths against me?
Well, I was surprised when I heard.
Huh? Then my brother spoke quietly.
You see, Amy seemed to be jealous of you, Maria.
Jealousy?
We have a good relationship as siblings, right? Plus, Jason is quite handsome. And seeing you at the peak of happiness, even pregnant, seemed to really bother her.
What's that supposed to mean? The fact that she kept shopping excessively at my husband's department store was because he was handsome, too, it seems. The reason seemed so unjustifiable that I couldn't find any more words. My brother, while concerned about me, continued speaking.
Apparently, she didn't like the idea of everyone paying attention to a pregnant you instead of her at her own wedding. All the guests would naturally come up to you and ask, "How many months are you?" Or, "You look so happy." She couldn't stand that.
I can't believe it. For such a reason. My brother, busy with work, had entrusted all the wedding preparations to her. Whenever someone tried to say something,
The bride is the center of attention at a wedding.
he couldn't intervene because of that statement. So, he didn't even know that I had been marked as absent without my consent.
I'm truly sorry for hurting you because of me.
And again, my brother bowed his head. The next day, we were asked by my mother to come to my parents' house, so my husband and I hurried there. There, Amy's father, his face flushed with anger, was accompanied by Amy and her mother, both looking furious.
Hey, Amy. Don't you have something to say to Maria?
Prompted by her father's cold tone, she clicked her tongue and threw a tantrum.
Why should I apologize? I'm the bride, after all.
Stop it.
Then her mother chimed in, seemingly siding with Amy.
Exactly. Why should Amy apologize? Everything is this woman's fault.
Amy and her mother, with no remorse, wore fierce expressions. Then Amy's father, trembling, spoke up.
You guys. Who do you think you're saying to? What are you saying to them?
As soon as he said that, he prostrated himself before us.
My daughter and wife have truly done something inexcusable. Please, could you find it in your hearts to forgive this incident?
No matter how much he bowed his head, I couldn't possibly forgive them. I retorted to Amy's father. There's no way I can forgive, right? I couldn't even attend my dear brother's wedding. Do you think I can forgive after being treated so horribly?
This is troubling. If you don't forgive us, our company will.
Yes, the reason her father was apologizing was solely to protect his company. The company owned by Amy's father is an importer dealing with my brother's company. However, my brother was furious about this incident and pleaded with his company's executives to end business with that company. So now, he's asking for forgiveness from me, his sister, and wants to resume business with my brother's company. I didn't know my brother's company had so much power, but apparently, despite being the president's daughter, my brother was in a higher position than Amy. With his forehead pressed to the floor, her father repeated his apologies over and over again. But the fact that his underlying motive was to protect his company made me even more disgusted. Continuing to talk won't resolve anything further. I firmly told Amy and her family, I will have no further association with you. If you and my brother are to marry, I will sever ties with him.
Wait a minute. Even though my father is apologizing so much, don't you have any empathy?
I glared at Amy, who was hurling abuse at me, with a sharp look in my eyes. Empathy? Coming from the one who caused all this trouble. Who should really be apologizing? Making your father bow down like that. Your selfishness ruined Michael's happiness. A woman like you is not worthy of my brother. Know your place, you worthless woman. With that retort, I kicked Amy's family out of my parents' house. Subsequently, my brother and Amy quickly called off the engagement. She apparently begged,
I don't want to break up.
Causing my brother to ultimately hire a lawyer. In addition, my brother arranged for compensation for me. Although I wasn't keen on it, my brother said,
Sorry, it's the least I can do as an apology.
And I graciously accepted. Misfortune continued for Amy's family, and her father's company eventually went bankrupt. With the termination of business with my brother's company, which was the cornerstone of their business, they couldn't sustain their operations. In this incident, they lost everything. Looking back now, it's truly a case of reaping what she sowed. For someone who can spew such abusive language so easily, this is justifiable punishment. On the other hand, I safely gave birth and am enjoying happy days. My brother seems to have recovered from the broken engagement now, and he comes to our house almost every day, doting on my daughter.
Jason, can I hold her now?
Huh. Michael, you were holding her just now.
Come on, I'll be leaving in an hour.
Well, I guess it can't be helped, haha.
My husband and brother are competing to hold our newborn adorable daughter. Listening to their heartwarming conversation, my heart feels warm.